So guys, we are in SimBrief now. This is a free website which you can use to create your own flight plans. This is run by Navigraph. Navigraph though is a paid service, but SimBrief is absolutely free for you to use. It's an amazing system. So once you are registered in, you can create your own flight plan. So go to dispatch and dispatch system and you'll get this screen, and here you can create your new flight. And if you have an existing flight already, then you can edit it as well. And all your flights will be shown here. All your flight plans will be shown here in under my flights. So now today we are gonna do the flight plan for Air India Chennai to Cochin, right? So AI will select flight number 135. Departure would be VOMM, which is Chennai, arriving at VOCI Cochin, and Bangalore VOBL would be our alternate route, which is automatically given. The weather, it's raining in both places, it seems. Hopefully by the time we launch it's cleared. Date is maybe we can select like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Aircraft type would be A320-200. This is the cruise profile for cost index. Cost index, the higher the cost index number, the more fuel the aircraft will spend. So normally budget airlines and all will keep cost index really low, but Air India is not a budget airline, so I would just keep it anywhere around say 30, right? So here you have to be very careful. This is a flight plan layout. I'll use Lido. You can use other airlines as well. So this is Thai, Emirates, KLM, Qatar, Ryanair, EasyJet. So you have a whole bunch of airline layouts there. So whichever you like, you can choose. I'm just gonna select the default one, Lido. Unit should be in pounds because our the flight management system has a pounds in it. We can change it if we want, but we'll stick to pounds. Reserve fuel would be auto. Flight number would be 315. Call sign would be AI135. Registration N320SB, fine, which is fine. 1 hour 30 minutes our flight time. Departure runway 30 and arrival runway 27. Extra fuel we are not going to carry any. Maybe we're not going to carry extra fuel, or shall we? Let's see. Just for the sake of it, we'll go with 51,000 pounds of extra fuel, or 51,000, I think. Anyways, let's see. Altitude auto. Passengers, I'm going to select around 110 passengers. Cargo would be around 1.1. Zero fuel weight would be auto. Captain name Indigamer X. This is my pilot ID. So this is the pilot ID which you can use in your flight simulator to link to your SimBrief account. So that's it. Since we have entered all our data, we just need to click generate OFP. It will create the briefing package, and here is your flight plan done. So cruise 30,000 feet, blah blah blah. This is our route. DCT MMV W115 CIA DCT. So this is our flight route, and this is our actual flight plan, operational flight plan for AI135 on 12th June, Chennai to Cochin International. ATC ACT code, call sign is 135, number is registration number, you can see here. This is our departure and arrival airports. This is our cost index. Um, these are our fuel parameters, and this is something which you need to be careful of. A block fuel, so 42,600 is our block fuel, in 42,600 pounds, by the way. That is our block fuel. Then here is your alternative route. You are going to Bangalore 27R in case of an emergency. This is our route. So we are starting from VOMM 30, Chennai 30 runway to Cochin runway 27. And this is the flight clearance and all the details. If you want to check, you can see all the weights mentioned here. Your nav log, your flight log is here. Then wind information, actual flight plan, and details on the airport and airways and stuff like that. So it's all included, but these are the key points which you should be careful of. So that's it. So once this is done, we just need to link our flight computer to the number which was shown before, the flight the captain number, and then the pilot number, and then you can get this flight plan automatically in your flight computer. So see you there. Hello guys, welcome back to IndieGamerX. I hope you all are doing great, staying safe. Today again we are gonna fly our favorite sim, which is the Flight Simulator 2020. Today we are going to fly from Chennai International to Cochin International, which are two airports in the south of India. And today we are going to fly using SimBrief. So we are going to plan our flight using SimBrief and then load the flight plan onto our aircraft and not use the inbuilt flight planning tool of Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I'll just show you how it's done. Before that, please like and subscribe to the channel, share the videos, leave your comments. I would really appreciate your support. So let's see how we need to plan our flight before we enter back into the system. Stay tuned. So here we are back in Chennai. We have our loading screen. Let's get into the flight. The weather seems to be bad outside. Looks like there is a bit of lightning and thunder going on. It is not a super detailed airport. It's just a normal detailed airport. You can see other flights here. Then we have our runway at the back. Definitely there's going to be some rain coming in, looks like. So let's not waste any more time and let's work on preparing our flight for departure. So we are in the cockpit right now. As you can see, beautiful laid out cockpit of A320, and let's get to our overhead panel first. To turn on the aircraft, let's turn on the battery master. Before that, let me check if my AI pilot, co-pilot is on. Let me turn that off. So turn on the batteries, both batteries on, and we can also turn on our external power. And let's turn on our APU as well. So while the APU is getting on, we can turn on our ADIRS, our GPS system on, turn on our crew oxygen supply, and also turn on our navigation and logo lights, wing light, and also our beacon light. Turn on our emergency exit signs to arm, seat belts on, no smoking on. Here we can also do our engine 1 fire test, engine 2 fire test, and also our APU fire test. Done. We don't need to turn on the fuel pumps now because we still have to do the fueling. So till then we'll keep it off. We can increase the brightness of the lights of the overhead panel, and then go back down to our cabin. You can increase here the brightness of our displays, the backup altimeter, increase the brightness of our FPD panel, and also increase the brightness of our Copilot displays. Increase our eCam brightness, and also increase our integrated light for our throttle quadrant floodlights to 1. Also increase our pedestal lighting a bit. So now that the lighting is set, we can turn on our iPad. So here you can download the data from SimBrief. So first what you need to do is go to your company, enter your username, then go back to your dashboard and import the flight from SimBrief. As you can see here, so this is our SimBrief username. Once we enter that and click from SimBrief, you can see our flight details already popped in here. So VOMM to VOCI, Chennai to Cochin. So if you go closer, you can see all the weather parameters mentioned over here. So you have barometric pressure of Q1004 in Chennai and Q1009 in Cochin. That would be useful for us to enter into the flight system. If you go to dispatch, in dispatch you can see your flight details, the aircraft details, which is the Airbus A320neo by fly-by wire simulations. And if you go to operational flight plan, you can see the complete flight plan which we imported from our SimBrief account. So the whole flight plan is here for us to use. Then you can set the fuel here as well. So if you remember, if you go to our flight plan, what you can do is you can see here the planned fuel. So so you can see here that the block fuel, which is the total fuel, is 42,600 pounds. So you can go here and increase it to, here it's in kilograms, so you might need to convert it. So let me just convert it. How much was it? 42,600. Uh, 42,600 pounds would be 19,323 kilograms. So what you can do is you can go to the fuel here. Oh, it's actually full fuel, which is quite odd for a short flight. Block fuel is 42,600. Okay, but hey, whatever they say. So you're gonna go with 42,000, and you can click. You can call for refueling. So it'll take around. If you put it to fast, you can estimate the refueling to be done in 1 minute. In the meantime, let's go back to our ATC panel, tune to the ground service, and request for baggage.
Chennai ground air ID 135. Could you please send the baggage?
Air India 135 baggage is on the way.
Catering,
Chennai ground air ID 135. Could you please send the catering truck?
and also the jetway.
Air India 135, the catering truck is on the road.
Chennai ground air ID 135. Could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
So you can see our catering truck is here.
135, the jetway is going to be connected.
Our jetway is being connected. Our catering is being loaded, and also our baggage guys are here, so they are loading the baggage as well.
Chennai ground, Ifr 7146, request taxi to the gate. Ifr 7146 taxi to gate 31 via taxiway Bravo Alpha.
Okay, while it's being loaded, ooh, heavy thunder. Let's go back to the cockpit. We need to set up the rest of our systems. So to set up the flight computer, we go to the MCDU menu, clear everything. Okay.
Halt position caution, other traffic.
We can just turn our ATC off for the moment, just not to hear that random chatter. Let's clear everything from the screen, and if you go to ATSU, AOC menu, and also Init page, we can request our Init. Before that, I need to set my username, sorry. So you can go here, you can go to, let me check, 1 second. Okay, sorry, I forgot how to where the username is. Okay, you go to MCDU menu, go to options. Here you have AOC, and here you have SimBrief. So click on SimBrief, enter your username or pilot ID. So what you can do is, let me check if it works out. So we can, I think, see our pilot ID. Just a second. Let me check my pilot ID. Okay, so this is my pilot ID, which is 45475574. It's already entered, so I can go back, return, and go back to the ATSU page, AOC menu, Init, press. So here I request for Init data request, and as you can see, my flight details are already logged in currently. So the flight number is AI135. Departure from VOMM to VOCI. Fuel on board 19,000. Once it's done, it would be 19,000. Yeah, 19,020. It's already entered. You gotta go back to AOC menu. You go to data or init. You go to init. So here you have from to. You click on init request and all the details are popped in here as well in the data page. So here we can see VOBL, alternate from VOMM to VOCI, flight number 135, cost index 30, which we set up in our page, cruise flight level 30,000. Now I don't want to use 30,000 feet because it's a short flight. I'm just gonna dial it down a bit, so I will enter flight level 240. Good. So I have already changed the flight cruise level to 240. Now again going to the MCDU menu, ATSU. What I can do is go to the AOC menu and click for the weather request. So here the weather type is METAR. Airports are VOMM and VOCI. I click send, and the message will be sent to our company, and the company will get back with the weather forecast. The message will be shown here once the company message arrives. As you can see, it has come. So we'll go back to the MCDU page, return to AOCU menu. Here you can see received messages. Click on received messages. You have the weather report. What you can do is you can print it out, and FS 2020 has a good way of printing out the weather. It's amazing. So the weather report is being printed out. Just click on it. It will come sit on our throttle quadrant, as you can see, which is really nice. So again, now going back to the AOC menu, you go to performance, weights and balance. Everything is entered. The block fuel is entered 19,323. I just will correct it to 19,020 because that is what we have here, 19,020. That was a maximum, it feels like. So the block fuel is 19,020. Refueling has already been done. So we can click on the next right arrow, go to the payload and click payload loading. So that has already been loaded, so we are good on that page. So let's go back to MCDU menu, ATSU again, AOC menu, check if there is anything we have to do in okay, that's fine. Init, press, everything is done. The second page, flight time, we don't need to enter that. Auto land on or not, I don't care. So fuel remaining is 19,000 pounds. Okay, so again, if you click on flight plan, you can see the whole flight plan here, VOMM to MMV, KKP, and you can see it on the screen as well. So if you just go up and select our mode to flight plan, you can actually see the flight plan. So I'll just go back to the normal camera view. If you see here, this is a flight plan entered here. The green line is the flight plan, and if you click on the down arrow, you can see the flight plan moving from one waypoint to another on the screen itself, which is really nice. Okay, so we are in VMM, back to VMM. Okay, cool. So one more thing we have to set in the flight computer. Just going back, you can go to Init, check everything is entered. Our IRS is done. AI 135, wind, cost index, everything done. Go to the next page. You need to calculate the zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight CG. That you can actually find in your iPad flight plan. If you go to your flight plan, OFP, if you go down, let me check where we can find the zero. He said FW. Okay, estimated zero FW is 108526, and you know what, there's an easy way to do it. I'll just show you. If you come here, the zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight center of gravity, just click on the button once more and it will calculate by itself, and just double click on, click once more, and it is done. The block fuel, we already know how much it is, 19020. So just enter 19.0 here, the block fuel. So that is done. Go to the next page. Everything is entered. We are all good. Then go to the performance page. Click on the performance button. We can calculate the V1 132. Click on it again. The VR 133. Then click on V2 137. Flaps, we are going to use flaps 2. Click on this. So once the flaps is ended, you can actually re-enter your recalculate your takeoff speed. So click on it once again, and it's 127 since the flap is on. VR would be 128 and V2 would be 132. Cool. Go to the next page. So next phase. So you can see that your managed speed during climb mode is 182. Cruise mode, the managed speed is 250. Descent cabin rate, we can increase, since the short flight, we can increase the descent rate to let's see if it works. I'm not sure if we can enter this, but let me try entering it. No, it's not possible, it seems. There's no minus sign. Okay. There is. Okay, let me check. Minus. Thousand. FT. No, it's not taking it. That's fine. We don't need to worry about that. Go to the next phase, descent 250. Next phase, final approach. For the final approach, you have your flight plan. If you go back to your flight plan, on the dashboard you can see the barometer says 1008 in Cochin, so you can enter that in your QNH 1008. Just let me clear that, because okay, let me find out how much 1008 is. Two niner 77. So let me enter 2997, not 1008. 2977. 2977. Sorry. 2977. 2977. Okay, that's fine. Temperature is 26 degrees. Landing configuration would be full. Go around. Okay, that's all good. Previous phase. Let's go to our takeoff phase. Yep. Again, the flight plan. What we can do is we can request change our takeoff airport. Let me check. Or iPad. Sorry guys. So if you look at our flight plan, runway 30 in Chennai and runway 27 in Cochin. Going to the detailed flight plan. So here we have okay, here it is. Yep, routing runway 30 and 27. Just double checking, guys. Its alternate airport is Bangalore 27R, runway 27R. Okay, now what we can do is we can go back to our flight plan on the flight computer. We can enter our departure, which is runway 30, and the approach. Again, I'll need to check what was approach. DCT approach. Okay, DCT is our approach. Do we have DCT? We don't have. So now guys, we need to do a couple of more steps before we go ahead with requesting the clearance. We need to enter our departure runway as per our flight plan. It is let me check, sorry, let me check the runway. It's up, yeah. So runway 30 and landing runway 27 in Cochin. So let's enter that. Departure runway 30, and we'll be flying the Colty approach, Colty departure via KKP, and let's select insert. So you can see here Colty KKP has been inserted. Then let us go to the destination. Select the arrival airport 27. It should be ILS 27. We'll select ILS 27W via CCBA and insert via C1364 star CCBA, insert. So if you return and go through the flight plan, you can see runway 27 inserted here, and on the top you can also see runway 30 entered here. So that's it. Let's double check all the settings if anything is missing. Looks like that's done. Init data all entered. Next, all entered. Performance all entered. Program. So let's see if we can enter this 24,000 feet FL 240 maximum. That cannot be entered. So current cruise is a flight 240, which is fine. If you go to the next page, no next page, DIR, we don't need that. Go to the flight plan, all is done. So yeah, let's proceed with setting up the rest of the aircraft. So if you want to see your the complete plan, just bring up the map. I think there is a confusion here. So we're going to be taking off from this runway, going right to USR CN07. I think we need to remove this MMV because it's showing a wrong entry. So let's go back to the flight computer. This MMV needs to be erased. So we just removed MMV, and now let's look at the plan again. So now it looks better because there was a wrong point entered. So now taking off from runway, going to USR, then directly to KKP to Laksik, and let's check the arrival approach as well. So decel, then CIB, taking left from there, taking a left again, lining up with the runway and landing at VOCI. Okay, good. So let me turn off the map. So here what we have to do is again make sure that our trans TCAS is off, our weather is off, predictive wind shear is off, and parking brake is on. We can speed brake lever to armed, flaps to 2. Not now, maybe after turning on the engine we can do that. So let's go to our overhead panel. Before that, let me check. Let's take Ifr Clearance first. Tune Chennai ground. Ifr Clearance.
Chennai ground, Air India Alpha India 135 ready to copy Ifr Clearance to Cochin INTL.
You can see our flight plan here. Turn our flight director on.
India 135 is cleared to Cochin INTL airport as filed. Takeoff runway 25 climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.9ers clock 5727.
We have been given runway 25, so we can change it to runway 25. So departure would be runway 25.
Chennai ground FW662
Colty via KKP and insert.
Ifr 6627 is cleared to Bhubaneswar airport as filed. Takeoff runway 25 climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is 124.45 squawk 4142.
So now let's check again our flight plan if this is okay. Yeah, so we have changed our runway. So we'll be taking off runway 25, climbing directly to MMV from left from USR and going directly to Colty. Looks fine.
Read that correct. Contact ground on 121.9er.
Let's acknowledge.
Air India Alpha India 135 cleared to Cochin INTL airport as filed. Takeoff runway 25 climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure on 118.9ers squawk 5727.
Air India Alpha India 135 read back is correct. Contact ground on 121.9er when ready to taxi.
Chennai ground FW6627 requesting pushback.
So our takeoff altitude initial climb is to 8,000 feet. So enter that. Rest all looks good. Turn on CSTR constraints. So we can request
Chennai ground, Air India Alpha India 135 with Yankee ready to taxi IFR.
oh sorry, by mistake I did taxi. We need to push back first.
Alpha India 135 taxi to in hold short of runway 25.
Let's cancel taxi.
Bravo Delta. Contact tower on 118.1 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 25 by taxiway.
It's alright, we can taxi later. First push back and then taxi. That's not a big deal. Ground services. We have another option to ask for pushback. So this pushback toolbar is really nice. So if you go out, we are all ready to taxi. So we have to turn right and then take that. So let's start pushback. Before that, go to the aircraft, release the parking brake, Jetway has been released.
Chennai ground Ifr 6627 requesting the end of pushback.
Ifr 6627 request to end pushback received.
Chennai ground Ifr 6627 with Yankee ready to taxi IFR.
Let's increase the truck speed a little slow. So while he pushes us back, we can go back, and then we can actually turn on our fuel pumps. APU bleed on as well to start the engines. Then turn on the engine selector mode and turn on both engines. Increase the truck speed a bit more. So we need to turn right, the tail needs to turn right. So our engines have started, both engines have started.
Hold position Ifr 6627.
Increase the speed a bit. You can see the pushback. So let's check our engine performance. It's 20.4% stable. We can put our flaps to 2. Auto brake to max. Check direction to the right. Increase the speed a bit more. It's too slow. There's another aircraft also pushing back at the same time. So now we are lined up. We can end the pushback. So both our engines are running fine. Now we can start our taxi. Before that, let's go to our ATC. Close the ATC thing. Everything else seems to be set. Everything looks good. Okay, now that we have pushed back, we can set the TCAS to takeoff and RA, radar system to 1, set predictive wind shear to auto. Then our lights, we can turn on our strobe to put it to auto. We can turn off the APU bleed and APU since we are on engines right now. Then turn our nose light to taxi and runway lights on as well. and also call for a cabin. That's it. Now we are set for taxi. Let's taxi. We can hand over our communications to the auto co-pilot. Now that we are at takeoff,
Chennai Tower, Air India, Alpha India 135 at runway 25 ready for departure IFR to Cochin.
let's check out takeoff configuration. Everything looks good. You can call the cabin.
Cleared for takeoff runway 25.
Turn on our landing lights.
Air India, Alpha India 135.
By the way, we need to set our QNH. I forgot to do that. Let's check overview to our dashboard, and then we can see the QNH is 1003. So let's go back to our panel and set 1003. Okay. Two 963. Let's enter it in our backup altimeter as well. 2963. Something which we should have done earlier, but I'm just doing it now. Rest all looks good. Auto brake on, landing lights, everything on. We turned the ADF display on, VOR display on. We have landing clearance, so let's line up with the runway right now. The part 1 is gonna end here, and please continue to watch part 2 as well, where we're gonna take off and complete the flight. Thank you so much for joining, guys.